there's still some kind of fear of being found out at some level, of being inadequate or wrong or bad. I still flinch when a police car and these days I pretty much stay the speed limit.
But you still feel guilty anyway.
Afraid something would be found wrong. So when I think of the what we're looking at here about the true self, about who we really are, which has no lack and which is totally allowing, and as you've said, is love itself. And it seems to me that the, quote, solution is fully living as that. But is it? And is this existential fear of lack, it's like much more easy for me to understand the existential fear of death, for example, and annihilation, than this being found wrong or bad or undesirable, or some secret seeping out that I might get caught at, something like all those lack, under the headline of lack. Is that just part of the existential condition of being human, and even living in full awareness or almost full awareness of who we truly are? Is that the resolution? I mean, and I'm curious to know about your experience to the extent you're willing to share that in this particular area.
The reason why we're afraid that others will feel that we're bad, inadequate, imperfect, etc., is because that's how we feel about ourselves. And therefore we project that feeling onto everybody else, and we presume that they're all having the same feeling about us.
So even in the growing acceptance of more and more of these imperfections.
You see, when you say that, when you say the growing acceptance, I detect that acceptance is something that you're doing with your mind, and that getting better and better at it. So don't think of acceptance as a quality that the mind acquires and improves. Acceptance is the quality of awareness, openness, total openness to experience as it is. So it's in awareness that you find the acceptance, not the mind. It's okay for the mind to say, I like some things and I don't like other things. That's what minds do. That's what they're good at doing. That's what they're conditioned to do. To just leave the mind doing its thing. The place to find the acceptance in yourself is the one that is wide open and already accepting of all experience. I mean, isn't this experience taking place simply because it has already been accepted by awareness? If awareness hadn't accepted it, we wouldn't be experiencing it. So the fact that something is present shows that it has already been accepted. It's too late for the mind to say, shall I accept it or not? And it's too late and irrelevant. It's already been accepted. That's the feeling understanding to get in touch with. Not to try to discipline the mind to be accepting after the event.
So the piece of my question also has to do with the growing identification as that. Is that the point to the eradication of this existential fear?
Yes, but don't think of it as an eradication, because again, you in talking of it in that way, you see it as something bad that's got to be got rid of, and that's going to be destroyed or eradicated. Leave it alone. Don't try to do anything to it, because to do something to it is more of the same. It's just fear of fear. Just to take your stand as awareness, and I don't mean as some marvelous idea of awareness. I mean to be knowingly the openness in which all experience takes place. To know yourself as that, to consider yourself like an empty window which makes the view possible. There's nothing in you, you're the empty space of the window, but it's the empty space of the window that makes the view seeable. So it is the empty space of yourself, of this openness, that makes all experience possible. That one is not judging experience, not saying that it should be like this or like that, not saying that it should be any other way than it is, and it's certainly not saying that this little part of the view called Marjorie is bad or untrustworthy or imperfect, or it's certainly not saying that.
Right, no, I understand that, yeah.
So just in practice, what I would recommend is when you feel these unworthy feelings coming up, the feeling that I'm bad, that I'm unworthy, that I'm unlovable, or whatever form it is in you, just really be with that feeling. Don't do anything. Feel the impulse to avoid it, to try and make it go away, to avoid it, to make it better, to improve it, to all the whole repertoire of things that the mind does in order to push this feeling away or improve it. Be aware of all of that, but just allow the feeling to be totally as it is. In other words, in order to live without lack, we first have to live fully with it. And to live fully, and the same goes for fear. To live without fear, we first have to live with it. And to live with it means to live with it totally. Experience it for what it is and not push it away. So let all these imperfect, unlovable, bad feelings and thoughts that you have about yourself, just allow them to come up and see that actually you can live with them. You don't have to push them away. They're perfectly acceptable. In other words, discover in your own experience that you are acceptable and lovable. And as you discover that for yourself, that will change the projection that you have about other people.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like someone who is anorexic and they eat a small meal and feel full. And the feeling of fullness makes a sensation. And in their imagination, they project that sensation so that they think that the other person is looking at them, and that sensation looks like being fat. So that there's just a sensation of being slightly full as you are after a meal translates not only into the feeling I am fat, but also the presumption that the other people actually see me fat.
All right, so, I mean, my own experience, in terms of lack, it's only partly other. It's also, shame.
Yes.
Whether it involves other or not.
But whatever it is in you, that you feel shameful or unworthy or whatever it is, and there may be several forms that this kind of sense of low self-esteem show up in your particular case. But in whatever form they show up, you have to really face that. Don't avoid it. Feel the impulse to avoid it, but face it so completely, allow it so completely, welcome it so completely that you see that you are okay with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to get to the stage where you feel, I can live happily with this feeling for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I don't need it to go away.
Yeah. Well,
And beware of turning this into a practice in order to subtly get rid of it. You have to really come to this feeling understanding that the way the body-mind is totally okay. I'm okay with it. And strangely, you'll begin to feel then that you're more acceptable and lovable to other people. Actually, you won't be. You've always appeared the same way, totally acceptable and lovable to other people, but you will feel inside, not only that you will feel more, less shame, more worthy, more lovable, but you'll feel that others look at you in that way as well.
yeah. Good. Okay. This is good. Thank you.